somewhere like either in Copper Jackets or Macarena, I'm rapping and shit, and I look at somebody wearing an orange shirt, and I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? I look up and I see a beanie. I'm like, why does this fool look familiar? And I look and I'm like, oh shit, that's my dad in my head, but I'm rapping and shit. So like, it's so crazy that it's just everything. Like time is like, there's no time. Like time is a fucking illusion for me at this point. And I'm just rapping up there and I'm just in the moment, right? And I see my pop and it was the greatest feeling ever to just have support.
Mad Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. You wet Prada, the devil like inside your box now. While the angels fly over my headstone.
We are back with another episode of the God's Hour podcast with your boy Big Cerbavelli, back in the place to be, La Merca Superior, Palace 81 Studios. We live in effect, live and direct. Mr. Tell a friend, tell your girlfriend for me, it's Mr. 9 Times. Yeah. So I have something to talk about. I want to get the fuck out of the way before we do anything else on the program. So I had a show last night, a great show, might I add, the best show, the greatest show I've ever performed at Audio Dope. Yes, shout out to everybody, Noah James, Lisa, JMKM, Teresa, A Sincere, Cam Gnarly, everybody, the whole familia out there. Yes. I had the greatest show of all time, in my opinion. Like, it was so crazy, man. I want to get more in depth to it, but first things first, right off of the bat, I got to get some shit out of the way, right? So let me preface this by saying that I do not harbor any ill will, personal, negative feelings, or judgmental attitudes towards anybody. If there's anybody who's ever been judged, if there's anybody who's ever had the pinpoint of negative attitudes towards, it would be me, right? I feel like I struggled a lot with that, having like finding myself and my identity, who I am as a person, even when people have questioned my character or quote unquote persona or whatever it is, decisions or mistakes or what have you, right? So let me just get that out of the way, because I've had some unsavory things to say about some, I don't even want to say exactly how many people, because it's not many, and it's actually not really, I don't really want to go too in depth to it, because I feel like I'm going to get upset with some of the things, some of the misunderstandings I feel I've had with maybe, let's just say, one person, because it's not even really one person, it's more like two people. But to keep this light and to not go too in depth with it, I'm just going to keep this very light, because I already feel myself getting upset with the way I was kind of bombarded last night at Audio Dope by, I'm not going to say who, but I want to shout out the homie Noah James. He is definitely, like, when they say a OG in the IE or just in general, like, Noah James for real is like the definition of somebody who wants to see other people succeed. He's the kind of person that has like no room for drama in his life. I think that's one of the things he actually told me yesterday. Like, he has no room for negativity in his life. And I completely understand that, and I agree with that. You know what I mean? He pulled me to the side because I decided to tweet some things about certain individuals, not towards Noah, not towards Lisa, But you know how I am, guys. You know, I'm going to speak my opinion about no matter what the fuck it is, what the topic is, how I'm feeling. It's just how I feel, bro. And I feel like that's gotten me in a lot of trouble with just whoever, right? Like, I think I have like a really good history of people, of my personalities clashing with other people. And that's kind of like determined either their departure or my departure from wherever, whatever it is we're doing, whether it be like music or some sort of business relationship. So what happened was I pulled up at Audio Dope and I automatically knew off of the bat, like, it's just like, you guys know how I am. I'm like, I have like a sixth sense, you know what I mean? I definitely get that from my family. I get that from like I feel like it's passed down from my grandma, and it's just heavy, like sort of like this weird intuitiveness that my family has. I've spoken on it a little bit, but Noah pulled me to the side and he was like, yo, I need to talk to you. And I'm not going to go into specifics because I'd be here it would take a whole hour and a half, like breaking down everything that night. I just kind of want to, the synopsis of the whole shit was Noah, he had some things to say, not some things to say. Noah had, all right, let me word this correctly. Noah had brought some things to a conversation that we had outside Audio Dope. Now, keep in mind, I want to preface this by saying my anxiety is through the roof. Like driving to Audio Dope, I'm like bumping Mobb Deep, and my anxiety is fucking like I still have anxiety now from last night. But it's kind of like, you know, just going there. Like I try to like either I was listening to like Jim Cornette originally when he was talking about, I don't know, something that had something to do with WWF or WWE. But then I started bumping Mobb Deep, which was probably not the best idea. I should have probably stuck with classical music or something like that. So my anxiety is already like on 100. Then Noah pulls me to the side and we had a conversation which kind of led other members that run Audio Dope to talk to me. And I felt like I was kind of being bombarded is not the right word. And you know, I don't want to make this like a negative thing because it was all in good conversation. It was all in good faith. You know what I mean? Like, I don't personally feel like I was attacked or anything like that. It was just more so like people had harbored these words that they needed to get out, and they said that. And that was kind of my whole point throughout this whole kind of like Funky Town situation going into this show, was people had things to say that they never said to me. Everyone kind of like kept it cool with me, which I appreciate. But what I appreciate more is if like you have anything to say to me, you say it to me. Like, I'm one of those people to where like, if I have a problem with somebody or something like that, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to hold my tongue. And not everyone is like that, and I respect that. You know what I mean? There's no shots to anybody. I don't feel like you're any less of whatever because that's not you. Like, you're you and I'm me, right? But I felt like everything that needed to be said was said last night, and I appreciate that, because over the last fucking I don't know how long it's been, almost 24 hours, I've been thinking, it's like everything has been playing out in my mind, like what I said, what I could do, what I could have said better, or what I not could have done, like fucking tweet a whole bunch of bullshit, subliminals, and like clips and things of that nature. But I want to get this out of the way right now. I have no personal ill will or ill intent on anybody that runs that program over there at Audio Dope. Had I had any personal whatever, I would have just no-showed. I would have said, fuck that show. I would have stayed away. I would have blocked everybody. That's the kind of person I am. I'm just like, if I just don't fuck with you outright, you're going to see it in my actions. I'm not going to placate that with sort of these behind the scenes type shit. You know what I mean? It's gonna be up front. Like, I'm not the kind of person that's gonna backstab anybody. It's gonna be a front stab, shanking. You know, not saying I would do anything like that to anybody, but I'm just saying that's kind of what I would at least have the decency to have, you know, that kind of, you know, whatever towards anybody. So, but God forbid, you know what I mean? It doesn't get to that point with anybody, not saying that it did, but we had a good conversation, me and Noah. A lot of misunderstandings and miscommunications got out of the way. I feel like a lot of my actions that I took on social media were misunderstood heavily by the homies. And once again, I would like to say that I don't have any personal feelings or any beefs or gripes or anything like that you want to call it with anybody. It was just kind of like my frustrations that I had to maybe specific things that I shouldn't have aired out. Like, to be honest, I should have hit whoever I thought should have hit up and should have been like, yo, you know what? I apologize if for this reason you felt this way when I said this, you know, X, Y, and Z happened and this is how I felt. But instead of that, I just fucking acted like a dickhead. I'm not gonna lie. And we got a good understanding last night. So this was all before my show, and keep in mind, my anxiety is like high as fuck, and I really felt like I fucked up somewhere, or at least was an ass clown about this whole shit, because the last thing I would think somebody would do if they have a personal issue with me is kind of spread it around like a fire, no pun intended, or not even be any like no funny fucking type shit. This is literally me. Like, I'm being 100% honest, because everything I could say right now, I'm holding back a little bit, because there's some things I wouldn't do as a man. Like, involve other people in a personal situation if that's how people felt. But I have nothing but love, admiration, and respect towards everybody at Audio Dope. Every single person at Audio Dope. There is no, you know, it may sound a little different, I know, because I'm really passionate right now, but I already know, like, in a week or two, this shit is gonna, like, I'm already gonna be over this type shit, because the way we got an understanding, and the way I see that my actions brought reactions, you know, it made me think, oh shit, maybe, like, I do realize I fucked up somewhere. Noah was like, no, like, you didn't fuck up. Fucking up is, you know, and he didn't break it down because there was so much shit going on in the back. But that's how I feel, you know, like, there's certain things you should do as a man that I didn't do, and I feel like I fucked up. But also, I feel like that's a two-way street. Like, it takes two to tango. Like, I'm not the only one who fucked up here. But we got a good conversation going. At least I feel like it was a good conversation, a good understanding that, you know, I made a lot of people over there feel uncomfortable, and that's the last thing I ever want to do. That's not my goal. You know, this podcast isn't here for me to shit on anybody or to make some sort of racist or homophobic remarks. And I honestly feel like a dickhead for even saying some of the shit I say. My cousin actually pointed that out to me. He was like, you know, you need to watch what you say. And I even told Noah, like, words are like razors. And I definitely feel like I cut some people maybe deeply. I don't know. I can't speak for other people. But what I can say is I sometimes fuck up and say the wrong thing. So again, I apologize. I meant no disrespect. My deepest, sincerest apologies. I'm sorry to whoever felt any type of way, especially to Noah, especially to Lisa, especially to Cam, and anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, I felt that energy just being in there, like if like I let them down in some sort of way, and in many ways maybe that's true, you know what I mean? Like, they're only trying to look out for me, you know what I mean? And I have specific things that I wanted to say that I didn't say at the show. Maybe I should have or whatever, but my whole thing is like, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. Every time I would do open mic, I felt like everyone else was getting supported but me. Like, whether it be videos or, like, more specifically, like Instagram, like stories, like everyone would get like some sort of support except me, and I feel like they turned that around by by supporting me on their story. And that's really the only gripe I ever had with Audio Dope. But this time they recorded me, they filmed me, and they put that on the story. Great. That's all I ever wanted. When Noah broke it down to me, like, hey, you're like the second person in a year that's got on our program. I don't know if he said that, very few people have gotten that, but I know people who've gotten like a show twice at Audio Dope. I'm not trying to fucking keep a fucking scoreboard, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm really grateful that that's happened, that I'm on the stage, because I feel like when they come to Audio Dope, they need to see a real person from Ontario that represents this shit. Because I'm the only rapper from Ontario, the best rapper, in my opinion, to be representing Audio Dope on that platform, and I give it my all. I practiced like almost every fucking day for like a month or two leading up to this set that I had, which I think was a fucking killer set. Like, I destroyed that shit, in my opinion. So my anxiety is crazy, right? And it's like fucking like a release I had while I'm on stage. I do the first song. I did Southside Story, and somewhere in Copper Jackets, I felt like it fucking, like, not my spirit left me, because that kind of sounds weird, but like I felt like I was floating or some shit. Like, I really felt like I left the stage spiritually in a good way. Like, I was just gone for a second, and it was really like therapeutic. It was the craziest feeling. Like, I can't even describe it. It was like an OBE or some shit. I was up there, but I really wasn't up there. Like, I felt like I was really guided divinely by like divine intervention or some shit like that. And it was incredible. It was like the best set I ever had. And just like, not only did I felt really dope, but the reception, like some of the reception I had on my past shows, I didn't like. And I don't know if this is something else that they didn't like that I had said before, but when I say the way my music is perceived by the people, I didn't mean like the direct people that run the program. I'm talking about the fans, the crowd, the people that are there that came to see the show, and they see me, and I didn't get the reception that I wanted in my mind. But this time, the homegirl Jessica Rabbit was there, the homegirl Ray was there, some random people, the homie Johnny Bars, the homie, shout out to Advis, he fucking filmed the whole thing beautiful, like the best cinema fucking photographer like of all time to film me, for sure. I hope I'm not missing anybody, but that's all like I really remember from all the homies that came through, and it was incredible. It was like a set, like I'm getting like a fucking tingling sensation in my fingers or something, like crazy. Like that feeling is coming back right now. Just so incredible. The moment was like something out of a movie where I was just there and I was just like it was like if I was just in a crazy Cloud9 space. Like where do they go in the Empire Strikes Back? Or where they're in Cloud City and shit. That's how I literally felt at some point on stage, right? One of the best. I have all the footage. I'm gonna post all that shit because it's so fucking fire on my YouTube and everything like that. So if you want to go see it, go check it out. It'll probably be out like because this, like I already have like 3 episodes like in the tuck. So whoever is like watching this will be like way later, or maybe I'll release like 2 at a time or something like that, so everybody gets like a good timeline and it's not like, this is the end of August. But like, I don't want you to see it at the end of September, like maybe the beginning of September if we can make it happen or something like that. But really, it was just like a fucking ill time, ill experience. Ray, shout out to her. She had a photo booth. Me and my dad was there. And the craziest part, somewhere like either in Copper Jackets or Macarena, I'm rapping and shit. And I look at somebody wearing an orange shirt and I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? I look up and I see a beanie. I'm like, why does this fool look familiar? And I look and I'm like, oh shit, that's my dad in my head, but I'm rapping and shit. So like, it's so crazy that it's just everything. Like time is like, there's no time. Like time is a fucking illusion for me at this point. And I'm just rapping up there and I'm just in the moment, right? And I see my pop and it was the greatest feeling ever to just have support. I post my flyers to my family and I tell them where they're going to be, and it's just like it falls flat. You know what I mean? Almost as if like no one gives a fuck. And I know it's not that. Everyone's busy doing their own shit, but like I don't care. Like as long as my father comes and supports me, that's all I give a fuck about, because my dad is probably like one of my best friends. He's somebody like I could talk to anything about. I love my father so much. I never really got to say that on my podcast, and it's making me emotional right now. But I love my father to death for sure. He's been there for me for like the craziest of times of my life. Could have just bailed on me, but he didn't, and he stuck with me. So to see him in my podcast, I'm in my fucking podcast. To see him at my show was fucking crazy. You know what I mean? To Peter, me fucking crying on the fucking podcast. That's beautiful. I just been really emotional, guys. Like there's been so much shit going on in my life, and everything is kind of like moving fast. So these are like tears of joy too, by the way. My father was there and it was fucking awesome. We took pictures. We're going to get them framed. We got them printed. I'm going to get them framed. I need to go to Michael's and get that shit. I started vacation from work, so it's definitely, I'm going to go see my tia. Tomorrow I'm going to go drive and see her. I haven't seen her in like years, dude. Like I haven't seen my fucking tia in like 8 years, and I feel like a dickhead too for that. Like I could have gone so many fucking times, but it was just like whatever, like me being whatever, right? So I'm gonna see her, and that reminds me, I should bake some I'm gonna bake some chocolate chip banana bread and share it with everybody over there. So the show was awesome. The show was fucking amazing. My dad was there. We took some pictures, and M16 fucking killed it. You know what I mean? He was really dope up there. His set was incredible. His music was good. And it was so funny because my dad, my humor and shit, a lot of it, like 50-50 comes from my dad and mom, like my dad and my mom, the way like I am and shit. But when me and my dad were talking about what happened last night after the show, my dad was M16. He had like, they played some song and he like unbuttoned his shirt, right? So he's like with his shirt open, rapping, and then towards like, I think like at the end of his set, he took his shirt off. So that was funny to me. To me personally, I would never do that. Like, I got big fucking chichis and a big panza. I would never do that to anybody. I don't want to blind nobody. Like, my eyes, like SpongeBob and shit. I would never do that to nobody, child. You know. But M16 was up there, and he had his shirt off. So when we came home, my dad was like, that dude had no business taking his shirt off. And that was the funniest shit to me. No disrespect to M16. M16 had an incredible set. I feel like everyone had a dope set from what I could see. Like, everyone that was up on that card, it was a fucking phenomenal show. One for the books for sure. Like, it was all love, it was all gratitude, it was just love in its purest form. Like, up there, just everybody. Is the fucking my glasses making it like, okay, I'm gonna just take off my glasses. It was dope, man. It was really dope to be up there with my comrades, my fucking peers, my local IE brothers and sisters up there, just doing what we do best, creative expression, you know. So that was the show. Once again, I want to shout out Noah, Lisa, A Sincere, Cam Gnarly, Teresa, and JMKM. From now on, and this is my word is bond. If I ever have any issue with anybody, it's going to be directly handled personally. It's not going to be no sneak dissing, no none of that shit on Twitter. And if, please, anybody out there that's listening to this podcast, if you ever feel any type of way of my tweets on Twitter, please do not hesitate to hit me up personally, wherever. Call me. You probably don't have my phone number, but Instagram direct message me or something like that, so we could build a dialogue. And that's all I ever wanted, was some communication. And we did get some communication last night, and that's all that mattered. From here on out, it's going to be nothing but bendiciones, blessings, you know. So let's talk. And let's get into some other shit that we missed, right? Cassidy has a fucking freestyle, I think, on the radar, where he's talking about his stick only hits men, so his weapon's gay, or some crazy shit like that. Cassidy, what the fuck is going on with you, bro, to be talking some crazy shit like that, bro? I would never say some shit. Cassidy has some pause-worthy bars, like when he battled Goods and he said some shit like something about eat the footlong or some crazy shit, something about the snub, you can eat the footlong. I was like, yeah, yo, you know what I mean? Pause. The way I feel about it, everybody has like gay bars. You know, I definitely have some pause-worthy shit that I said in the past. I'll never forget when I said on a John Wayne beat, I called it space bars, but I showed it to my cousin and I said something like, pistols clash if you clap my ass. And my cousin was like, really, fool? Clap your ass? And I was like, oh, fuck. Like, that's one of those things where you need peer editing type shit. Like, if you don't know what you're saying, you know, that's one thing I really wish we would have done. Like, when I did music with like either my cousin or Chava Style, like, I've said some fucking like shit that like that don't make too much sense. I really wish they would have been like, this is what you're saying. Like, does that really make fucking sense? But with the whole Cassidy thing, it was kind of like, I don't know if that was the illest thing he could have said. Like, gay bars to me are never dope. Like, especially and they're just cringeworthy. Like Biggie Smalls, when he said pause, he said fuck him in the ass, throw him over the bridge. That's a crazy line. There's just so many pause-worthy lines out there in rap that I definitely feel like we should move away from. Anything that has to do with anyone's ass. Even I stashed the crack in my ass like Young Thug. Or I forgot the homie's name on the Murder Music Mob Deep album where he said it hurt my ass to see him pass. Like, why do you gotta say that? Why don't you just say it hurt me to see him pass? Like, why do you have to rhyme pass with at? Like, why do you? Okay, right. So that's just my opinion. As all my fucking opinions are, it's just mine. It's not no one else's. Nobody fucking go crazy on me, right? I was gonna get into some real deep shit, but I feel like we've already like gone into some deep shit. So maybe I'll talk about this on another podcast. So I had a dream, a crazy fucking dream. Like, one of my homies, he gave me like 2 big gold chains, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I got 2 big gold chains and shit. And I'm really big on dreams because dreams, I feel like, aren't coincidence. They're not like no funny shit. I feel like dreams are important. You know, in one hand, you could say dreams are just like your brain on a subconscious level telling you certain things or whatever it is, right? But I feel like on another level, dreams are like a divine message from God telling you or showing you certain things. Like, I get the whole, you know, your brain just compute things in your mind so you see them at night. I get that, but on the other hand, shit like that, like 2 gold chains on my neck, and I'm just like, damn, like these are gifts, you know what I mean? That's what I got out of it, like these are gifts. You know, and I'm starting to see the gifts I have in my life. They might not be gold chains metaphorically, but the bonds you have with people and just like, you know, your word is bond and things of that nature. So I just wanted to share that real quick, man, because like, dreams are fucking important. Dreams are like something that I don't play around with. I don't know if like y'all are deep into that, but I always feel like dreams have hidden messages. At least I have them. Like, I have real vivid dreams. I have dreams now that I had years ago that I still remember. Like, whether it be me and my sister playing as kids on like some sort of playground, or like going to, like, I never met Makami, but I think I made music with him, or I've been some places with him in my dreams, or like Starker too. That was another crazy one where I was in like New York with Starker. Like, these are dreams that tell you certain things, and I listen to them at least. And I'll never forget them. Like, these are things like even like SD Knack, or maybe even I had a dream like I was with Al Davino or Euro Droog for sure. Like, I had a crazy dream. I was with Euro Droog eating like at some like place that looked like Boca de Beppo, this Italian restaurant or something like that. Something crazy, right? And I always pay attention to that. So, you know, you don't need a dream catcher. Like, I don't know what dream catchers are for, but I feel like the dream catcher is all like in the mind. You have these dreams, these messages that come to you, and you take it the way however you digest it in your mind. And for me, it's like, I don't even know what some of these fucking dreams even mean, dude. Like, it's like, I still feel like God is you know, when your mom or dad tells you certain things as a kid and you don't really understand them, like, watch out for strangers, or you know what I mean, don't trust a man with whatever. Like, you know, you don't really get it. Like, as a kid, you're just like, oh, okay, well, don't trust strangers. You don't get it as a kid. But when you're a grown-ass man, and you're like, oh, fuck, because people don't have the greatest intent on you as a child, or there's fucking maniacs or pedophiles out here, then you really see, oh, stranger danger, get the fuck away from my kid, dude. Like, you're like being a creep, you know what I mean? Not saying every stranger is a creep, not saying that you shouldn't say hi to random people, or freely give respect to good Samaritans or things of that nature, but it's fucking true. Like, stranger danger, some people are just like creepy, right? And they put too much lime in this. I got this at the mall. They didn't put like 5 limes in here, bro. I feel like I'm literally eating out a lemon tree right here. I feel like I gotta blend an apple and put it in there. More spinach or something. It definitely got too much shit and not enough something in that thing. Edge retires from WWE. Edge, also known as Adam Copeland, that's his real name. Big Ruthless Aggression WWE superstar. He was like one of the best heels in the Ruthless Aggression era of WWE. And if you don't know what that is, for all my non-wrestling heads out there, wrestling is broken down in eras. You have the Golden Era, which had the likes of Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, the Macho Man, I think Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Jake the Snake, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Like the classic wrestlers, the legends were out there. I think there's an era between the Golden Era and the Attitude Era. I think there is. That's like the early 90s or some shit like that. But the Attitude Era possibly unanimously is voted as the best era of wrestling of all time. This era had the likes of The Undertaker, most notably the rivalry between The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is the era that had... Would you consider WCW being in the Attitude Era? Well, let's just say during the Attitude Era, you had when Hulk Hogan turned heel, when he became Hollywood Hogan. You had fucking Goldberg, Shawn Michaels. You had DX, Triple H. But most notably, you had Stone Cold Steve Austin pretty much ushering in the new era, the Attitude Era, where things were more realistic, more like Stone Cold was kind of not too far from who he actually was as a person, you know? And the era after that was the Ruthless Aggression Era, which I think started around 03, 04, and I think it ended like around 2010. But that was my era of WWE that I watched as a kid in El Monte almost every day in the summer at night, because my parents were always working. So my cousin Annette and Jose, my cousins Annette and Jose, and my sister sometimes would watch me. And maybe that wasn't the best decision to do, but oh well, maybe we'll talk about that with my parents later on down the line. But I remember growing up watching Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, my favorite, Rey Mysterio, Edge, Randy Orton, Kurt Angle, Booker T. Who else was fucking dope to me? Shelton Benjamin, RVD, Matt Hardy, the Hardy Boys, Jeff Hardy. So that was my era of wrestling. And I don't know if Edge retired or he's gonna retire, but he should have been retired. I feel like Edge is one of the best heels. I hated Edge growing up. This is where I get nerdy in WWE, so you could just skip 10 minutes or whatever if you're not into this, because I'm probably gonna close it out very soon. Or you could just end the episode. Whatever you want to do. I'm not one of these people, you got to watch it to the end. Like, no, bro, if you don't like it, get the fuck out of here. So, I remember when Eddie Guerrero passed away, which was crazy. I remember the Monday Night Raw where all the WWE superstars was on that Monday Night Raw. I think like right after he passed away or something like that. And I remember as a kid, it tripped me out because I was like, wait a minute, dudes from SmackDown could go to Raw? Like, how does that work? Like, I thought it was like Raw and SmackDown was separate. I didn't, I'm a fucking kid. I'm like, I'm a little ass kid. Like, I don't know I'm not a smart WWE fan. I'm like a baby, right? So I'm not exactly a baby, but I'm a young ass kid. So I didn't know that like they all know each other and they all knew each other to a certain degree. So seeing all them like crying and remembering Eddie Guerrero, I remember it just tripped me the fuck out, like pretty gnarly shit. And I remember seeing when the Eddie Guerrero Rey Mysterio feud, I thought that was crazy. I remember most vividly seeing the Batista and Rey Mysterio tag team title run that they had together against, I think, was it Eminem? I think it might have been Eminem. Melina was so hot. I remember Melina just turning me all the way the fuck on. I think Melina has to be one of the top reasons why I love Weras to this day. Like light-skinned girls, like Melina so fine. Like, I'll still knock her down to this day. Melina, anytime you want to call me, baby girl, Big Serbs will get you right out here. And I think she's a married woman, so maybe I shouldn't say things like that. But anyway, hey, there's anything could happen, right? So with Edge retiring, it was kind of like, damn, man, he had that feud with John Cena, and I remember hating Edge, like, fuck this fool, he's a bitch, like he's a spineless motherfucker. But now seeing Edge, it was like, damn, dude, like, you have to respect how dope he was as a heel, like one of the greatest heels of the Ruthless Aggression era. Definitely the top 3 in my opinion, just off the top. Triple H, Edge, Randy Orton. And they were just all like, you love to hate on them, like the person you love to hate for sure. Like them, they were super easy to just be like, boo, like, get the fuck out of here, you fucking suck, you moron, you know. So with Edge, I remember like I got out of tune with wrestling very fast. Like as soon as Robin Big came out or something like that, it seemed like it was overnight where I just stopped watching wrestling for, you know, up until now. Like I don't even watch wrestling now. I watch like all the old school shit like now that I miss, like WCW or ECW or all the old WrestleManias, like, you know, let's just say 14 to 19 or 20 more specifically. And I'm like, I can't believe some of these dudes are still wrestling. Like Bobby Lashley. I remember I stopped watching wrestling around like when Bobby Lashley was fairly new. And I'm like, damn, this fool's still performing at a high level. Rey Mysterio, Edge. But Edge is not the Edge definitely of his prime. Like prime Edge was a fucking menace. And I hate how now, like, everyone does a fucking stunner or a super kick. And I'm like, dude, anytime somebody got stunnered or super kicked when I was a kid, it meant something. It meant you're fucking gone. It meant this shit is over. Like, you're gone. Like, bye-bye. This match is over. That's what a fucking stunner meant. That's what a super kick meant. Now it's like everybody, or a spear. Like a spear meant this show is gone. Like this is a done dilly. Right now, everybody's getting speared. Everybody's getting stunnered. Everybody's getting sweet chin music in the face. And I feel like it's fucking up the value of all these signature moves that were popularized by the likes of Stone Cold, Edge, and Shawn Michaels, right? And I feel like Edge should have been retired. He's so old. He can't even wrestle the way he used to. And you could tell he's doing it purely for the love, but there's like this video of him on SmackDown that's like, I can't do this anymore. My body, I can't just do it anymore. I was screaming like, Edge, then fucking leave, bro. Like, just bounce, bro. Like they were trying to get Ric Flair the fuck out of here, bro. When he was in his 60s and shit. I don't know, like Edge got to be somewhere around 50 or like in his 50s or some shit like that. He looks too old to be wrestling. And I remember when they had the career-ending match with at WrestleMania 24 with Shawn and Ric Flair. I'm like, dude, how is Ric Flair still wrestling, bro? Like, that just is mind-boggling to me how they let some of these dudes still wrestle. Like, they have to have like some sort of age limit, like, or some sort of like doctor's analysis, like you cannot, like you have to stop. You know what I mean? And I get like some of the things, like maybe the wrestlers, they want to keep going. They love it. But come on, dude. Like these wrestlers go through hell and they're doing it every day, bro. They have matches, some of them like every day. And they're like basically just like crash dummies every day. Just multiple injuries, multiple surgeries, just multiple things that they're going through, not just like physically, but mentally it has to be draining. Spiritually, it has to be fucking incredibly just like life enduring. You know what I mean? So I hope Edge does retire, because like seeing him wrestle now is just like seeing a fucking, I don't know, somebody dying. Like, God forbid anybody out there dying, but like it's literally seeing like one of my favorite like villains die of cancer or something. And I hope Edge lives a long, healthy life, but it was just crazy like seeing edge in this state, though. In the state he's in now, to wrestle still fucking crazy. So Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt passed away. Terry Funk, one of peace and blessings and condolences to the family of Terry Funk. He is a legend, an ECW legend. He did crazy shit, barbed wire matches and lighting shit on fire and just crazy thing. He was like the Ric Flair of ECW. Rest in peace to Terry Funk. He was a psycho in the ring. He would literally do shit that no one would ever do. You know what I mean? So rest in peace to Terry Funk. Bray Wyatt, I know he was like a newer wrestler. I'm not too up on him, but peace and blessings and prayers to the families and friends of Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. I want to end this on a good note. So today's Go Fest. Happy Go Fest to everybody. And I'm playing Pokemon in the park. And these kids, they're all like on their scooters and shit. And they're like, lemonade, we're selling lemonade, $1.50 or whatever the fuck, right? And this little family, they're selling lemonade and cookies like Chips Ahoy and Oreos and shit for their kids to learn some sort of like entrepreneurial type shit, which I thought was really dope. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put 5 on it. I got 5 on it. Something with the lemonade, And so, do y'all like when I do that, when I remix shit? I get that from my mom. My mom would say shit like, have a merry cherry Christmas and a happy Halloween. I'm like, Mom, you fucked that whole shit up. That's not even how it goes. But with these kids, they're selling lemonade and shit. I really took the time to be like, okay, I gave you $5, right? So you're selling cookies for 50 cents. They gave me 2. So how much is that? And the kids, they're like, they're like 5 years old. So of course they're not going to be fucking mathematicians, but they're like, oh, okay, that's $1. 50 cents, that's $1, right? And I got a lemonade. So what's that? $2. Okay, now give me another 4 cookies. Okay, that's another $2. Okay, so now we're at $4 or whatever, right? So we're at $4. I'm like, and I want another lemonade. So how much is that? $5. Okay, great. And they made the lemonade themselves. Everybody contributed to it, which I think is awesome. I love when the kids come together and the parents come together with the kids and they do dope community shit, because I grew up on that. I grew up free food in the summer, doing like community activities in the park. You know what I mean? That's why I have a bunch of lines like, you ain't never starved in the park, shit like that. Shit, it goes down in the park, narcs and sharks, shit like that. Because I really grew up in the park with the raza, serio. Like, this isn't a fucking joke. So I really enjoyed that, seeing all the kids, because I seen me in the kids' eyes. Like, if that was ever me as a kid, I never sold lemonade. I think I did for one day, but like no one was on the block. So I didn't sell shit. So the fact that I could just give $5 to the good parents to teach the kids, you know what I mean? It's not about the money. It's about, well, it is a good learning lesson about money, but it's all about teaching the seeds, the future kids, how to be entrepreneurs and to be self-sufficient salesmen. And I think that's really dope. I commend that a lot. I really thought that was dope. So I had me some lemonade and cookies before I really grinded on Pokemon Go. I had like a really dope haul for the day. So I got to do my trades in, get my trades in and shit like that. Message of the day: don't let anybody disrespect you. If you have a problem with somebody, please hash it out like real men. Don't go on social media. Don't go behind anybody's back. If you have a problem, do it mano y mano. Don't bring anybody else in. It's very important. And I grew up like this. You don't ever let anyone disrespect you. You don't ever, without some sort of repercussions on anybody, right? Like, you got to retaliate. But maybe it shouldn't be in a physical or a disrespectful manner. It can always be done. Some sort of communication or dialogue can be built for respect to be found between grown men or women or whoever it is, right? Message of the day: don't let anyone disrespect you. And with that, this is the God's Hour.
Max was the turnout of my lifestyle. Smoking green, blowing white clouds to build the blue skies. Conversating with the gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Gods by my wildflower to let them know that it's the God's hour. This love's the never-ending saga. Walk through the sands of times like Gara. On the other side of that gad is karma. He wed Prada, the devil like inside your box now.
While the angels fly over my headstone.